I always kind of feel like saying, well, duh. Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your old pal, Mr. Butter, coming back at you again. I'm recording this video on the day that the Ferrari Jordan 14s released. I grabbed a pair from my local Finish Line, and I want to get into them with y'all. If you're into kicks and you feel like hanging out, then hit that subscribe button. Let's take a look at these Ferrari Jordan 14s. What is happening, everybody? It is great to be back here with y'all on this beautiful day. As I already mentioned, I'm recording this video on the day that the Ferrari Jordan 14s released. I have never owned this pair. These first dropped in 2014, and it's been over a decade since then, so I was definitely glad that I had my chance to pick these up. Came in a familiar style box. We've all seen this before. It's just gray all over, has a little red Jumpman there. The tag reads Air Jordan 14 Retro. The colors are challenge red and black. This is one of the Jordan silhouettes that I always go true to size on. I do have wide feet, but it just seems like they're comfortable when I go true to size, so that's what I've always done. I think these had a retail price of $215 US. I did have a status rewards coupon to use for $20 off. I think altogether they cost me $206 after taxes. And these must be Ferraris, because they went fast. I've talked to multiple people in the past that have told me that the Ferrari 14s is their favorite colorway. This wasn't one of the original colors of a 14, but it did first release in this color combination back in 2014. I think this is the first time that they've been retroed. It's been over a decade. So for a lot of people that are really into 14s, this was a very highly sought after colorway, maybe even one that people didn't imagine would release again. But you can see why it's deemed the Ferrari 14s. The 14s already have a sports car inspiration, and that can be seen on the heel where we have that tire tread going up the back, and then we can also see tail lights down at the bottom of the heel as well. And then on top of that, if that wasn't enough to convince you that it's a car themed shoe, we have this air scoop down here on the midsole area. You can even see the screen whenever you look in, but obviously that inspiration comes from a sports car. We have this faux carbon fiber print on the midsole area as well. Even the Jumpman badge here on the side looks like the Ferrari badge. There are some things that I really like about this pair of shoes, but I can tell you right off the bat, this is not my favorite Jordan 14. And even though I knew I wanted to grab these for my collection and that sort of thing, I am a little bit underwhelmed. Maybe I shouldn't say that right off the bat, but I am a little bit underwhelmed. I think it's really cool looking, but for one, the suede, as soon as I saw it, I just thought, man, that's kind of ashy. And what it reminds me of is the red suede that we had on the reverse Flu Game 12s. I can't even remember what year that was, maybe around 2020, 2021, something like that. But I really didn't care for the suede or the appearance of the suede on those reverse Flu Game 12s, and this just kind of reminds me of that. I know over time that suede gets ashy, but I would prefer for it not to look ashy as soon as I get it out of the box, especially when it's got this bright red color. And in my eyes, it just looks ashy to me. That might not matter to some people, and a lot of y'all might not even see what I'm talking about, but I'm just giving you my honest opinion. A lot of times I catch strays from people saying, you like every shoe that you review on your channel, and I will admit, I tend to review shoes that I like because I spend my money on them, and why would I buy a shoe to review that I don't like the looks of? So I always kind of feel like saying, well, duh, yeah, I like it, I bought it. But anyhow, I do like these shoes, and I did want to add the Ferrari 14s into my collection, but like I said, there's just a couple of things that I'm not really feeling on this particular pair. Another thing that I'm not really as much into is just, this is such a plain looking 14. My favorite 14s are probably the black toe 14s, and that's like an all white 14, but on the toe it's got the suede overlay, almost like a toe cap or something, just a black suede overlay. And I just feel like this shoe needs something on the side to make it a little bit more interesting or a little bit more complex. And again, I know this is all personal preference. I'm not trying to bash the shoe or anything like that, but I think the Laneys, for example, they had a pretty smooth side to them, but up along the eye stays, they had this one line that just added a little bit more of a shape to it. That one line on the Laneys going up by the eye stays, it just makes it look a little bit better in my opinion. And I just feel like these are way too smooth. There's nothing going up the sides. Sometimes we have an overlay going up here where the badge is, and I think these were made very true to the original, but I think on the last version of the Laneys, we did also get that overlay that goes up where the badge is, and I just thought that that looked really nice. Even that little overlay that goes up the back, I think was enough to change it. Sometimes we see 14s that have ribs going down the side of them, and again, I really like when we see that, just because it makes them look a little bit more complex or something. I don't even know what it is, but these just have a very, very smooth look. It's all just one piece of suede pretty much the whole way around, and it's not that it looks bad. I'm just telling y'all, I prefer 14s that have a little bit more of a complex shape to them. One more thing that I saw and I didn't care for was on the midsole. I really like this carbon fiber, you know, print that we have all over there. Obviously that is on a foam material, so that is not real carbon fiber, but on the inside of one of the shoes right here, it looks like whatever they put that carbon fiber print on with, it looks like it got smudged or something before it was dry, and you can just see black shining through. That's not a huge blemish or anything, but I just like to point that stuff out to you. Along with that little imperfection, I do see a couple areas here near the bottom of the laces where it looks like there's some glue on the suede. So not really the best QC on this pair, but again, I just like to point that stuff out whenever I see it. I don't want it to seem like I just love everything about every pair of shoes, so that's why I'm trying to point out some things that make this not my favorite Jordan 14. Looking at the outsole, we can see these do have a nice bright yellow pivot point. Most of the outsole is a black color, but we do have this nice bright yellow, and you see the Roman numeral for 14 there. Then at the midfoot, we have this hard plastic area, and I think that's just to add some rigidity to the shoe. But again, it looks like it's part of a sports car, and that is in a silver color, and we see a red Jumpman there as well. The outsole has herringbone underneath the forefoot and underneath the heel, and we've seen that on plenty of other Jordans. Then as we come up to the midsole area, I've already pointed out, we have some of this fake carbon fiber print. Then you can see some of that silver plastic kind of wrap up to the side, and I think that's cool looking. Of course, as we get to the heel of the midsole, we do have the tail light. Then of course, we do have our little screen area back here. That really looks like a vent, like a hood vent, or like one of the vents on the side of a sports car. So again, it's really just hammering home that sports car theme. As I already mentioned, the upper of this shoe is just a solid suede. It is a red color, but in my opinion, it does look a little bit ashy. It feels like it's decent enough quality, but I just wonder, after a year or two of owning these, I just think they'll probably look really, really faded. If you're good at staining suede and that kind of stuff, then it's really no issue. I just wish the color was a little bit more vibrant. We do have a little Jumpman stitched on in black thread there at the base of the laces. I love this emblem on the side of the shoes. It definitely looks like it came right off of a Ferrari, but instead of a horse, we see a little Jumpman there. Then we can see that yellow again on the heel with the number 23 and another yellow Jumpman up above that. The tongue is very thin. It feels like at the base of it, it is a fake suede or a felt material. It's in a black color and it's got these black kind of oval rope style laces in it. I wouldn't change them. It didn't come with any extras, but I think it looks good having the black laces to match that black tongue. And then at the top of the tongue, it gets to where it's like a curtain style material. And on the front of it, it says Jordan in yellow. And then on the back of that, it has the Roman numeral for 14 in yellow as well. We have a black sock liner on this pair, and then our insole is black, and it's got a white Jumpman down on it. So that was a pretty quick look at these Jordan 14s. Like I said, I'm not trying to sound like I don't like these. I'm glad that they released these again. I am a little bit surprised that the demand was as high as what it is. It looks like they disappeared really quick online, and my store didn't have a bunch of extras or anything. So that's always a good indicator as well that people are snatching these up. I don't know that prices will stay as expensive as what they have, but after what the black metallic 5s did, I wouldn't be surprised if these stay pretty expensive and very profitable, which means people probably won't be able to grab a hold of them as easily. But anyhow, let me know if you grabbed these. Let me know how the QC was on your pair, because again, it's not like the Jordan brand is super consistent. Mine might have a couple of issues, whereas the majority of pairs might be perfect. So hopefully if y'all got a pair of these, you're really happy with them. I think it's a cool looking shoe. It's definitely not my favorite 14. My favorite 14 remains the black toes, and for me, this just isn't as wearable, and then this really smooth upper, it just doesn't look as interesting to me. I love the Ferrari theme, and it's definitely easy to see that theme all over the shoe, but for me, I just prefer the black toes. But anyhow, I appreciate you all watching tremendously. The grapes drop next week, and I am so pumped up for that. I should be able to secure a pair of those, so look for that review to come. There's always more content on the way, and I really appreciate y'all supporting the channel. I will catch y'all on the next one. I'm out.